Hello everyone, this is Kat, and welcome back to Warframe. And today, I got for you guys the Redeemer Prime Gunblade, and 3 builds that I have prepared for it. And we're just gonna go straight into these. I got for you guys a damage build, a status build, and a combo slash high level mob build. I'm gonna go through all 3 of them, and I'll explain what the pros and cons are for each of them. And I'm just gonna say in advance, even though I do have a status build for you guys, it is not very great for the Redeemer. The Redeemer has not yet received the new like visuals, and when it comes to shotguns and projectile propellant, because this weapon, of course, is technically a shotgun when actually using the shots, and it doesn't actually have a guaranteed status chance in all pallets. So that's one thing I have to say about the status build. Top of that, the status build does actually lose out on the raw damage output against both the combo and the higher level builds. And yeah, it's not really that great. So first up, we got the raw damage build. And I'm gonna say this one is not actually fully maxed out. I am missing quite a few nodes in my sacrificial damage mod set. So I'm lacking a bunch of critical chance, which can be upped even further. And I'm also missing a bit of raw melee damage. I'm using the bullet stance mod because I am most used to it, and I prefer it over the high noon stance by quite a bit. Other than that, we got Fever Strike and Shocking Touch for a very simple corrosive damage combination to max out their damage against the tough Grineer targets. And then we got Killing Blow, which gives you 120% melee damage on heavy attack. Because this is going to be, if you guys haven't noticed yet, 2 times for heavy attacks there, heavy attack here. This is a heavy attack focused build. Top of that, you get 60% heavy attack wind up speed. People might say American Organ Shatter also gives you the actually heavy attack wind up speed, but if you're going to see on the wind up here, it's 0.2 seconds. If I swap out these mods, it's still 0.2 seconds. Even though it says it improves, I barely notice a change there. And this mod here, Spell Strike, minus 20% attack speed, also doesn't affect the wind-up speed of the heavy attack, so there's nothing wrong there. So you can actually throw that one on without actually having the downside with the Killing Blow on here. Then we got Corrupt Charge, which gives us a guaranteed 2 times combo multiplier at the start, but it only gives you 2.5 second duration. This thing is not meant to hold up combo, because if you use a heavy attack anyways, you will immediately lose your combo. But since you are capped at a minimum of 30, you also always get the double damage from the first combo level. Last 2 mods are Spell Psych for 100% extra damage. Again, the downside of attack speed doesn't really matter on this build. And the Organ Shatter that gives 90% critical damage increase, leading to 4.2x critical multiplier. And this build right here can actually one-shot the highest level heavy gunners that I have, which are the level 115 corrupt heavy gunners, because I am only mastery rank 17, I think it is. I actually have tendency to forget it. So I only got the gunblade on me right now, but you have to make sure to have, of course, have the gunblade out before doing heavy attacks. And you can see here how much damage this thing can do. And even from a decent distance, that was a bit off target, but you can see how much damage this thing can do still. That's a one shot of 2 targets, because remind you, this thing does have punch through on it by default. So getting 2 or 3 targets at 1 hit is actually fairly easy for this weapon. And that's one of the things that makes it so powerful. And I'm quickly gonna I wanted to kill all of them and get some more corrupted heavy gunners here. Got 20 in there prepared. Simulate this. Now we're gonna go on to our status build. So the status build does have condition overload here, which is kinda expensive. And we have Corrupt Charge and Drifting Contact, which might make you believe that these two are going to be number, because minus 50% combo duration, plus 10 seconds combo duration, which is going to have like one of the 2 sets of this thing. That's actually not the case. Corrupt Charge only affects the base stats of here. You can see 5 seconds. If I put this thing on, it's going to be 15, plus 10. And this thing, if you throw it on, it goes to 2.5 seconds from those 5. If you put this thing back on again, you're going to get the 10 extra seconds, so that's actually perfectly fine. Now we got 3 60% status mods. I went with heat and viral, which is for now going to be the elemental meta. So I decided to stick with those 3 elements. Melee prowess for a whole bunch of extra status chance, leading us to 123% status chance. Again, this is a shotgun weapon, and it doesn't have the new UI yet, so we don't actually know what the actual status chance per pellet is right now. Do have a pressure point for basic damage, but the damage does lower compared to the normal like the previous build by 500 damage here, even though we do have an extra element. Do have to point out, neither of these elements is corrosive, so we do lose out on a bunch of extra damage potential because of it, but viral and heat will do a lot of damage. And of course we do have collision overload, which is going to be a pretty expensive mod, around 40 platinum, which can give us a bunch extra damage per status type affecting a target. And one hidden set among this weapon is that the shotgun blasts, not the actual normal swings, have an innate blast damage. So we got viral, heat, slash, puncture, impact, and slash. So we actually got 6 different elemental effects here. Even though we only added 2 by default, we got a total of 6 potential options. So we can proc the condition overload a total of 6 times potentially. So we are going to go back over here. I'm going to start out here because I kind of want to try and get a combo up, because this is going to take a little while. And here you're going to see one of the biggest downsides of this weapon. It has a tendency to yeet targets off the cliff. And I kind of have to hurt him back towards the center to make sure that doesn't happen too much. But even then, goodbye, Bob. Anyhow, 130. We're gonna need 220 here actually, so 80 more ish. We're gonna get a maximum of 10 per attack because we have 10 pellets, and each of single one of them can count for the combo. And like, I don't expect players to get up this combo until like halfway through the mission. But now we're gonna aim for the head, because this is still kind of a crit weapon, and that's where we deal the most damage. And you can see, we really do need 3-4 hits to kill a target with this build. I don't really count that one. Really count that one. Okay, that was actually 2-shot-ish. So that was pretty good. But of course, you do have to hope that you get 4 different status procs instead of doubles. So well, now we got slash and fire, and now we got 3 elements on there, and that definitely does a lot of damage. Not doing headshots right now, so doing reduced damage in comparison. But now we have 4 procs on there. So yeah, this thing is pretty good at applying a lot of status procs like this. But because of the low base damage on the current setup, we don't really get actual damage output. And on top of that, again, blast, if you stack it a whole bunch of time, or impact together with impact, can actually ragdoll targets off the cliff. And that can actually, of course, we're in the simulacrum right now, so there they can actually fall off the cliff. That was actually a pretty good hit there. But in case of a normal map, they would actually be probably just launched in a corner where you can't quite see them anymore. And now we're going to go into the last build. And here we're going to talk about a few mods that I decided not to include. So, one of the things here is quickening. Quite a bit of attack speed and combo count chance. Didn't really feel I could fit it in there. Drifting contact gave me time, because it would be better than body count, because I get some status gens, which is more important than the 2 extra seconds of combo duration for me. Damage, I needed an elemental combination at least. And I actually then end up going with corrosive, Because this thing is still mostly a crit build. Because you get a whole lot more blood rush, even though mine again isn't fully upgraded than compared to Weeping Wounds. I do have to point out I do not have any status like any stat stick bots on my drone, my companion here. So okay, there's no weapon here at all. So that is something you should not be taking into consideration, but we can put them on in a bit. Then I also considered Relentless Combination. I used to run Relentless Combination for quite a bit because the stash is pretty high on this build. However, with the new changes and the last patch, the IPS damage types no longer have a 4 times chance on proccing. So the most of the damage, like status procs, are gonna be from corrosive, and because of that, and also because by the time you really start to apply status effects, like generally right then it's already that the whipping wounds is at a high level, so you don't really need much more. I decided to stay off with this combination. Another one that I did consider by quite a bit, I have to actually find it here. It is the one that gives me, where is it? Yeah, here it is. True Punishment. 100% additional combo count chance, and a minus 50% combo duration. The combo duration is again exactly the same as the Corrupted Strike. So that's something you don't have to worry about. But it does give you a twice as fast ramp up with damage. If you want to run this build, because you know you're going to face high level targets and you don't like the heavy attacks, you might want to consider putting on this mod um, to ramp up the damage a bit faster. But the problem is you would probably have to cut one of the base damage mods, and that then it already starts to become not worth it compared to the base damage build, which is, spoiler alert, gonna actually be the best build for this. Even though this is gonna be one of the more expensive builds you can throw on a redeemer here. Of course, I do not have a Riven. I'm not that rich. So you could actually potentially upgrade it with a Riven. Um, this build doesn't really like put out enough damage if you do not have the status extra, like the extra crit chance gladiator mods. I do have a few. I'm pretty sure I have like 3 for my companion, but I'll have to double check. There. So we're gonna simulate them again. Gonna go over here. And we're gonna start charging our combo count again. And we're gonna do this from quite a bit away. Because with the punch through, we can still get a whole bunch of counters, but because of the damage fall off on this weapon, we won't do that much damage to them. So there we go. Low chance, only one off the cliff, so that's fine. And almost me off the cliff there. Oops. So that's not really a good shot. Of course, you do kind of go downwards. Okay, that one was a pretty good one. This one is probably gonna die before. Oh, almost. So we're gonna shoot that one in the face. That was a one shot. That was not quite a full headshot. Let's pick out this one. Slightly under the chin again. That's a one shot. Although he did take some minor damage before. That's a one shot. That's a one shot. That's a one shot. So you can see that this thing can kill a single hit, but that's only a quarter damage on a body hit. And that's a third because condition overload ramps up. So you will be able to kill these targets in 3 hits, and the damage kills pretty well above these levels. How often are you actually going to be above this level? Because, of course, Swordy is only around level 100. So even then, if you take the damage build, you will be able to one-shot basically anything. This build would only be necessary if you're going to stay for a very long mission, because this thing's damage output's potential is higher. Again, you kind of want to get the Deconstructor on your Helios. And I'm just gonna have to double check what mods I got 2 gladiator mods on here, and I'll just check whether I don't have any more. No, I do not. But there are 3 of them, so I can actually grab my Octavia and put one on here. I probably here I got here's the gladiator Aegis, which gonna give me the third proc of this gladiator set bonus, giving me a 30% additional crit chance per combo multiplier compared to the blood rush that I currently have at 54.5%. There go two guys off the cliff. That wasn't quite according to plan, but guess we'll have to make do here. By the way, you can actually prevent yourself from going down, like forward too much by holding your right mouse button and then using the roll attacks. And we're gonna charge now, so there goes another one off the cliff. And now we're gonna go right on the face of this guy. That's a clean one shot. And now you can see we're getting a lot of red damage numbers. And that does help you quite a bit. Look at that. That's two-thirds of the damage without condition overload on there. And of course the condition overload will buff the damage even further after you hit the first hit, because you apply a whole bunch of status effects on a single hit with the fully upgraded weapon. But I can't really show you guys the effects of it too much, because this is the maximum rank I can actually do here. If I could, probably if I put in level 250, it will still perform pretty good. Only a couple more hits than compared to now. So, that said, again, this is a very expensive setup. Condition overload, whipping wounds, blood rush, and don't underestimate actually the pain of getting the bullet dance, even though it's not too expensive if you want to actually just trade for it. It is annoying enough that you most likely just want to get grinding for it. And yeah, this build, again, the same. It's expensive. You got a bunch of 60/60 mods, and it's just not worth it in my opinion. Comparison, this build, we can still just run pressure point and true steel here, and we can still perform pretty well. And so even if you have not done the quest required to get the sacrificial mods here, you can see that I can make heavy gunners disappear, but you can still get one shots at close distances, or again need them off the side of the cliff. That's better. There we go. Oh, it's actually gonna die with low health. That's one hit. Again, one hit. That one was already damaged. That was already also damaged. And that's all there is left. So yeah, I would again advise, if you're gonna run the damage build, get the sacrificial mods and upgrade them fully, because you could see the actual like consistent one shots with the sacrificial mod set, because the extra crit chance from this 175, well, this is only 120. This one is not even nearly fully upgraded. So do consider that. You could of course also consider getting a primed pressure point, but I'm not really focusing on any of the prime mods for melee right now, so I decided not to go for it. And this already shows a very, very solid build, even if you don't get to fully upgrade the sacrificial mod set. That's it. That's all I got for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. See ya!